everybody, happy Thursday. How you doing out there? Hope you're having a good day out there. Welcome to our show. It's called The Closing Beat. It's just a quick stock market update show that we do. Cover the good, the bad, and the ugly. You've heard all of this before, right? Play the game, guess the Dow, all that good stuff. We can move on. So if you haven't heard before, we do this class every day. I'm sure I'll mention it in future classes. Hey, tonight we're doing a class for our customers. Every Thursday we do a class. That's really what I want to focus on. Every Thursday night it's a class. It's done live, but of course the archives are in the dojo. If you're joining us for the first time, you're a brand new customer of Jazz, you just go right on over to the dojo, log in there, and what happens is up here, at 8 o'clock, this turns into a live stream, and you got your chat off to the right and everything. You'll be able to see and interact right inside of the dojo. Our class tonight is right here, so if you were to click on it now, nothing's going to happen, but at 8 o'clock it will go live. That's tonight at 8 o'clock there, as you can see. Also, all of our previous classes are in here, and they're ranked by category. Just want to point that out real quick. If you're just getting started, you want to sort through all the basic types of videos there, that's cool. If you're really into the geeky stuff, here's all of our geeky classes in there. So you have a lot to cover. I mean, there's just all kinds of good stuff in there. We've been building it up over the years. And you can also search, go off to the right there. You can search for whatever you're looking for. So anyways, that'll be tonight. We'll be in the dojo at 8 o'clock from the speakeasy over there. Our new set, which is a functioning bar. It was important. You know, you could build a fake bar, but we just decided, let's build a real one. You know what I mean? We're here all day anyways. Anyways, the Dow higher by 212 points today. You got 21 on the S&P and 74 on the old NASDAQ. What else is new, man? Just the market's moving to highs, to highs, to highs. Let's go over here to the stock market. We'll take a look. You got the S&P 500 sitting at record highs. In fact, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P all made new record highs today. You can see it there on the charts, that low from yesterday. We'll call it the Iran low. Still very much holding. As I mentioned yesterday, that's not the type of low that gets challenged rather quickly. There'd have to be some other life-shaking event around the world or something that caused us to head back down there in the short term. So all of you bulls can sort of rest easy for the moment. We do have earnings season coming up, and it seems like the market's kind of waiting for that. We have one big report tomorrow, the unemployment report and the jobs report coming out, the whole thing, really. And so that could shake things up a little bit. Other than that, it seems like people are content to wait for earnings. So S&P 500 sitting at new record highs there. NASDAQ sitting at new record highs. The market today was actually led by tech stocks. And the Dow sitting at new highs there as well. Remember yesterday we talked about the overnight ranges in the stock market being rather wild. Showed you the overnight versus during the normal market hours. Well, last night was officially the smallest range overnight session of the year. It's not saying much. We're only in the 9th day of, it's not 9 trading days, but it's the 9th day of the year. And so very quiet overnight market. Pretty much a quiet market today. It was just a slow bleed up. Nothing too crazy there. You had some retail news. We'll cover that in a moment. You also had good economic news come out. Not much. Weekly jobless claims came down. I think it's 4 weeks in a row. It's been moving lower now. I don't have the chart today. But looking good there. And then, you have the trade deal getting signed next week, right? Vice Premier coming over to sign that trade deal. So with that, the markets had almost nothing but good news to go on. So let's break down the markets for you, go through the different sectors. We always say you need the financials and the tech stocks to move the markets higher. You had both of them again today. Financials up by just over 0.5% on the day. We'll look at semiconductors today because I have a few stocks to share in that space. Semiconductors did poke to new highs, didn't close up to new highs there. In the financial space, you got Berkshire Hathaway, which is the biggest holding in the financials there, the big financials anyways, up over 1%, hit new 52-week highs for Berkshire Hathaway. That represents, 13% of the XLF, if you like comparing your stocks to the ETFs there. So there you go. I noticed AXP continued higher on the day, looking good. That was the news from yesterday, just follow through from the news yesterday that they are looking to expand into China, or they filed to expand in China. So I hope that goes well for them. The stock was higher on the day. In the semiconductor space, you had AMD, another 2.5% on the day, upgraded by Mizzou, $55 price target, which is not that much farther at this pace, but AMD continuing its run. You had a lot of other semiconductors do well, at least to the start of the day, and sitting at new 52-week highs, Micron Technology being one of them there. In the tech space, we'll use the XLK to take a look here. You got all new highs again. It's the most expensive area of the market right now, and it is hitting new highs again. I'll say it again. What else is new? Tech stocks just continue to move higher. Apple was one of those that helped support the sector today. and Microsoft as well. Microsoft and Apple, well, Microsoft added 1% as well. Microsoft and Apple make up 40% of the XLK. Shared that with you guys yesterday there. The Apple news was that there was a report, actually, that China iPhone sales were up about 18% year over year. Obviously strong for them. That stock is just on fire, really. And Microsoft just continuing to trend higher. That's more of a steady, slow uptrend. That sort of thing can continue for a while. Apple maybe getting a little extended. Consumer staples today came back off the 50-day. We've been pointing that out. They pulled back to the 50-day, walked you through the whole thing. We talked about it being a rubber band. This time it acted as an actual perfect floor. And at this point, at least, is bouncing off the 50-day moving average there. Couple stocks that stand out in that space. Coca-Cola was higher today by almost 2%, moving back towards these highs. Coca-Cola got an upgrade today. Also decent yield. Yields just about 3% in that consumer staple space. That's one of the better ones there. You're also going to find Costco in the mix. We talked about this yesterday. They announced their store sales up about 9%, 9.2, 9.4, something like that. A lot of it came from online, so looking really good for them there. It was a standout stock today, 1.5% on the day. In this space of like the discount sort of retailers, you know, Walmart, Burlington, and BJ's Wholesale, things like that. This is the second largest stock by market cap. Walmart is the largest. Like Costco is more than or less than half the size of Walmart in terms of market cap there. But Costco happens to be the most expensive. From a fundamental basis, Costco is the most expensive, and it offers one of the lower yields of these stocks here. In fact, 0.88% there. There's only one other stock, Dollar General, that yields 0.84%. So Costco, you're getting an expensive stock from a fundamental perspective. You're getting a low yield compared to other stocks out there. And in terms of percentage, it's only the second best performer out there in terms of over the last year, how it's performed. Target is actually your best performer in the space there, about 77% over the last year, and that's from the last two earnings announcements. They just killed it in those earnings there. So Target is there. It's less expensive, by the way, and it's got a yield that's over 2%. Where's Target at the moment? Target sitting at 2.14% before today. I didn't factor in today for that one. So just a little comparison retail-wise to kind of show you what's going on there. Let's take a look at retail. We'll use the XRT. It was a bit of a rough day for retail out there. It looked like it was headed back to the 50-day moving average. In the retail space, you got two names that really stuck out. You got Kohl's. Kohl's falling, call it 6.5% on the day there. And then we talked about this yesterday, and unfortunately it got worse today. Bed Bath & Beyond down, let's call it 20% on the day. Those two helped take the sector down. Now, Rite Aid is the largest holding in that ETF, and Rite Aid continues to pull back from its earnings. This a great example of a stock that got too far too fast, down 3.5% on the day. Michaels is the second largest in the space, barely, right? These Rite Aid is like just over 2% of the XRT, and Michaels is like just very close to 2%. It was down 3.5% on the day there. There were a lot of names in this sector that not only were down on the day, but lost over 2%. I won't maybe go through all of them. I don't want to make you, oops. I don't want to disappoint you, make you sad today. Urban down about 3% on the day. Abercrombie & Fitch lost almost 4% on the day. JCPenney is going to be real nasty if you look at that one, over 10% on the day. We mentioned Kohl's a second ago. Macy's just over 2%, and Gap lost 3.5%. So a lot of retailers not looking too good there. In terms of Kohl's, Kohl's reported their earnings, lowered their guidance, weakness in the women's sector. So they had other areas that did well. Women's was the disappointment, and they did something with 9 West. I believe it was early last year. That was expected to really help them out. In addition to the Amazon returns, you know, you can go to Kohl's and return your Amazon stuff. Turns out that might be just a little bit more costly than it was worth there. I think it's early. We'll see. But that's what took down Kohl's. And then Bed Bath & Beyond. We mentioned yesterday that was earnings related. They missed by 41 cents. Revenues, well, and we were expecting a profit, by the way. So not good. Revenues less than expected. They also decided they weren't going to give guidance until the new CEO gets a good handle on really what's going wrong with this company here. He's new, right? It's a new CEO, so he's taken over there. They kept their dividend, though. That was good there. And after today, let's see, it fell. So it's probably their dividend yield as of right now is probably like 4.85%. So they kept the dividend in there. you know, that's, I guess it's pretty good for them. It just gives you the sort of confidence that maybe the CEO's thinking, okay, we're going to work through this. We're going to have enough cash on hand. But right now, it was kind of one of those kitchen sink type earnings like we talked about a while back with Ulta, when Ulta just came out and said everything sucks. Side note, the Ulta CEO was on CNBC today. Very positive lady. I mean, she was like, almost seemed like a politician. She was extremely ecstatic about all this stuff, different departments and everything. So Ulta got a good boost out of that one there. Elsewhere, let's look through oil. Pulled back all the way back to that trend line. It'll pop up here in a second. So you wonder why oil stopped where it did today? Now you know. We've been covering this now for what, like 2 months, to kind of illustrate this is the channel that oil is in. Oil is a very technically traded commodity, so it does respond to numbers like this, and that's why you saw oil basically stop right where it did today. Very interesting, but it did take down some of the other names. Oh, actually, OIH finished positive on the day, did recover by the end of the day, and XOP, not quite, almost got there. It was under the 20 moving average today, but did finally get back. Let's call it a flat day. It was only down 11 cents. That's 0.5%, but it's 11 cents, not really too crazy of a deal there. So that's that one. You might notice Boeing was a little bit higher on the day. Reports are now that maybe when Iran was shooting some of those missiles over to Iraq there, maybe one of them hit the airplane that was taken off. It's a sad story, but it sort of takes a little bit of that pressure off of Boeing if that turns out to be true. And Donald Trump, the president, was on TV, and you could just tell he was trying not to say that he knew really what happened, but he was just like, no, that was a missile, tell you what. So in as much plain English as he can use, he was essentially telling everybody, we know what really happened there, and it was unfortunately the Iranian missile took out that airplane there. So not going to be a Boeing issue, at least that's the way it seems as of now. And so you got the Boeing stock just about 1.5% higher. The attention turns back to the grounding of the 737 MAX and a little bit of, hey, is Warren Buffett out there buying the stock? And we'll see. Good news if you're a Verizon customer. Stock was a little bit lower on the day, back down almost to the 200-day moving average. Great little sell-off for Verizon if you like these dividend stocks at a discount. Verizon's getting rid of, you have to buy the bundle. It sucks. We have Spectrum here, and I always ask, I just want the internet, right? I want basic cable maybe in the internet. I'll look at the rest. I use all the other stuff. Well, Verizon says we're going to get rid of that. Tell you what, if you just want internet, you can have internet. If you just want cable, you can have that. If you just want phone service, you can have that. And we're going to let you change month to month. So if you decide in 1 month, don't need the internet, or I don't need cable, I want to take a break from that, or in February you want it because of the Super Bowl or something, and then you want to get rid of it, yeah, you can do it. They're going to let you do that now. I don't know how that's going to affect Verizon. I personally would switch to them because of that, if I could in my area. Sadly, it is not a choice. I think that is extremely unfair. But that doesn't have to do with your dough. That's my dough, so we'll drop that one and move on. Tesla poked up to new highs today. What did it? Did it hit new highs today? I think it was a brand new high, 498.80. Yesterday's high was 498.50. So it did poke to new highs today, started a bit of a pullback. Look, as things extended. There was an analyst that came out. Where was he from? Baird. Analyst came out and said, in a very elegant way, the risk to reward at this moment for Tesla no longer exists, meaning the opportunity for a reward that exceeds the risk that you're taking is just not there anymore, given the run that this stock has had. I thought it was very cool how he said that. He was basically telling you, this thing is overbought. Don't go buy this stock. Those were his words, not mine. And I want to share something with you here real quick. I saw this pop up, so we did a little research. Tesla's market cap, based on this run here, I'm going to go over to the chart. We're going to, this is Tesla, General Motors, and Ford. I'm going to back out the price here for a second. Here is the market cap plotted on the chart of Ford, General Motors, and Tesla. Tesla would be in the purple there. You can imagine market cap obviously is done well. If you're not familiar with what this means, this is basically the current value of Tesla, $86.4 billion. General Motors, $50 billion. Ford, $36 billion. And if you add those two together, you basically get the market cap of Tesla. So the sort of talk on the street today was, hey, wait a minute, if you add Ford and General Motors together, they're worth what Tesla is? Is that a little much? Did we maybe go a little too far, Tesla? So anytime you hear that, you're likely going to see the pullback, as you did today with Tesla. All right, you got 73% of the S&P 500 above the 50-day moving average. That's unchanged. We had a great day today in the market. S&P added 21 points, but we didn't get any new stocks above the 50-day moving average. So, like that's at least a glimmer of hope for the bears out there. That stocks, a lot of the stocks besides tech stocks, kind of remain flat. You have 55 names within 2% of getting over the 50-day moving average. If they were able to do that, let's say tomorrow, you would then have about 84% of the S&P 500 over the 50-day moving average, which would mark a high over the last year. So there's a lot of stocks that are close. They're just not inching towards it. So we kind of played with some of those names today. Okay, you got 73 new 52-week highs today, 8 sectors. We had 7 sectors yesterday. You got 8 today. Really, that was just because of one utility. AES poked up to new highs there. That utility stock helping the sector representation of those. 50% of all the stocks on the list today were higher by 1% or more, and I think it was actually 52% to be perfectly exact. Couple retailers that bucked the overall retail trend today. Oh, nope, I typed it wrong. Ross Stores hit new 52-week highs, up 2.5%, along with TJ Maxx, your discount clothing stores there. 1% for TJ Maxx hitting new highs. Estee Lauder, was it? Yep, that one hit new 52-week highs as well in the retail space, so looking good there. AMD, we already mentioned, they hit new highs today. That was the upgrade that they got there. You have all of the familiar names. You got Apple, new 52-week highs, Facebook in there, Microsoft, right? Alphabet, Google, hitting new highs there as well, Salesforce.com. Very nice move on Salesforce. Excited about that one. So those were higher. Nothing new there. Bristol-Myers hit new highs. Broke out of that tight little range we talked about yesterday. Just a small little breakout. But added 2.5% today. Some positive drug results there. And if we go a little bit further, Huntington Ingalls, this is that aerospace and defense stock. This is one of the only ones that hasn't pulled back after the Iran news. You got Lockheed Martin, at least it's calmed down. It's taking a little bit of a break. Raytheon kind of sitting there, not doing a whole lot. But if you go over to Huntington, made new highs today, so up another 2.6%. There were 0 52-week lows today. You'd expect that. It was a good day overall for the stock market. And, oh, one other one. BlackRock, BLK is the symbol, hit new highs today. Deutsche Bank says that this is very specific. Deutsche Bank says that BlackRock will outperform the S&P 500 during earnings season. I believe earnings season starts next week. It's already up 2% for the year. It is up 24% over the last 3 months, just kind of highlighting this last little run that it made there. And Deutsche Bank says it's going to get even better. It will outperform the stock market. That was their call there. Gutsy. I like it. Hormel paying dividend tomorrow, 23 cents. Looking good there. What else do we have? Limited Brands, the retailer was higher. They were also higher despite some of the retail weakness today. You got the unemployment rate coming out tomorrow. The payroll numbers coming out. We're expecting 160,000 increase in overall payrolls. That would be about 100,000 lower than November, but that's normal because of the holiday season. And the unemployment rate is expected to remain unchanged at 3.5%. There are a lot of other data in there, also, data points, in addition to like average hourly earnings, the average work week, things like that, manufacturing payrolls and things. So we'll cover those as we get there. But I think that's about it. I'll take my shot, see if I can answer some of your questions, and we'll go from there. Tesla consolidating before the push past 500. You're hoping for it. So you just want to see it consolidate. That'd be cool too, right? Anytime a stock goes too far too fast, like Rite Aid, it doesn't have to pull back like that. There are many examples of a stock that just rocket ships higher and then stops. Right? People don't want to sell. They still believe in the stock, but they just don't want to buy any more. The buyers dry up, but you don't have any sellers. So it could very well be true. It's been a good run for them. Yep. The question to ask yourself is, hey, you mentioned your cost basis there, about 380 or 480, I think you said. Sorry, it already went off the screen. If your cost basis is 480, at what point would you say, okay, this is going to be a loss, just in case it pulls back? What if it does like Rite Aid does? You want to play that in your head before it happens. Otherwise, you end up stuck holding a stock you maybe don't want to. But just in case, let's say sentiment changes in the short term and you don't want to hold it past a certain amount, or maybe you just want to get out and then rethink about it and get back in. What's that magic number? Think about that magic number before it happens. You'll always feel better than if you sit there and hold and then kind of panic. Yep. Occidental Petroleum was higher. It keeps coming off its lows. Little stock that could right there. Yeah, it did. Finished up just about 1%. All the bottom pickers out there so far very happy. Occidental Petroleum was on the 52-week low list almost all year, it seemed like last year, and so far it is making its way off those lows. If you happen to own it, looking good. Yeah. You love CRM, but you got to play the other side, or are you hedging? You might be hedging there with your puts if you bought the puts. Understandable. Understandable. You could also just peel off a piece of your position, instead of paying for that. But I get it. Volatility's low. You're paying very little for those puts. That makes sense. Sonos is suing Google. That came out the other day. Patent infringement there. I don't know. I haven't followed any updates to that. I don't think there have been any updates to the mix there as far as what they're suing Google for. Came out on the 8th. Let's see what's going on there. Yeah, they're definitely suing them there. Nothing started there yet, though. Yeah, so no new news. Expected volatility. It's pretty volatile stock anyways, that Sonos, so I would expect that volatility to continue. Should you wait to get in on NVIDIA? These are tough. I mean, these tech stocks have all had such a good run. It's hard to pay up. I'll give you that. My only suggestion, if it were me and I had to pick a stock and I just had to get in there and do something, I would start smaller, right? Whatever you're thinking about investing, I would start with a little bit less and then hope it pulled back a little so I could add a little bit more. I don't think this is at a point where you go, all in, let's see what happens. Yep. Everything's so expensive, it's hard to find some deals these days. Yep, it's the pullback that everybody wants and nobody is getting at the moment. I hear you. I know it should be the last thing that I say, that I want the markets to pull back, because think about it. You imagine customers would be upset or they'd be panicked or whatever. I don't think that's the case. I think everybody wants a pullback, a nice normal pullback. Make people feel good. Make people feel like they got a little deal in the short term. Yeah. Do you take customers in the UK? If you live in the UK but you're an American citizen or American citizen, you can. But sadly, you got to be an American citizen. Those are the IRS's rules, not ours. Any similarities to the 2000 tech bubble? Absolutely not. Nowhere near it, by the way. If you look at, well, you'd have to look at the different ticker symbols now, but if you look at like Broadcom and things like that, nowhere near where we were in 2000. Nope. No. This is the equivalent of like some people are calling it a melt up. Some people are calling it a FOMO market, fear of missing out, where people are saying, I guess I'll just dive in. But nowhere near the greed and speed of wanting to get in on the market like you saw in 2000. I love it. Is Apple overbought? By every technical analysis tool, it is overbought. In my opinion, it is a different thing. But by using every tool you can to measure a stock being overbought or oversold, you would have to argue it is overbought. Yep. Oh, yeah. It shouldn't matter if you're an investor where you get in. That's true. But an investor is also piecemealing their investments, whereas a trader might be saying, I'm going to take a shot on some stock, right? They're essentially taking a wager with some percentage of their account and looking for a right or wrong response. An investor is saying, okay, this is a piece of what I have to invest over the grand scheme of things. You're right. A different story there, though, for investors. Oh, I saw Luckin today. Yeah. So Luckin blasting the new highs today, 12% higher off the news from yesterday. That's a volatile stock there, man. I would say if you own the stock and you had a chance to sell into it, you got to feel pretty good about that, you know? Oh, yeah. You think I should invest the $100 gift card last week yeah, I got the note today. You're in Portugal. The post office actually alerted one of us here that, hey, if you're sending a gift card to Portugal, maybe the guy can't actually spend the money on the gift card, but you can go online and use it. Pedro was our winner of Guess the Dow, so he's wondering how he should, after he converts the money, should he buy some Aurora cannabis there? How I kind of feel about these cannabis stocks there. They're still overvalued despite the price there of Aurora cannabis. You're a bottom picker. I mean, I guess since it's free money, you could take a shot. It's different than having, putting your own dollars on the line. That's a tough one. This is one I would rather see bounce first, let the sentiment change, let it make its way back on the media, and then just buy the pullback. I don't feel like there's a need to try to pick the bottom on that one. Yep. All right, I'll wrap it up there before I get in any trouble. I appreciate you guys watching. Remember, if you're one of our customers, we'll see you later. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Join us in the dojo we're going to talk about the Secure Act, and not just the stuff that you can Google, by the way. All the little details that affect your dough, right? That's what we're here for, is try to make sure you guys get the most out of it. So we'll cover that 8 o'clock tonight. I'll get ready for that class. I'll see you guys later. For the rest of you, we'll see you tomorrow. Happy Thursday. We'll see you on Friday.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new Fin Tips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.